What's up, everybody? This is Naxxion back with another video, and today I have an updated Zodiac 2024 list. I got 4th place today at locals with this list. It's not really much crazy. I actually wasn't planning on going in, and it's a kind of incomplete deck profile, but it is what it is. There's not much that changed here. We got still our triple copies of Zodiac Thoroughblade, just really good card. Triple copies of Zodiac Whiptail. And today, build, I decided to go on something that I saw online. I played triple copies of Zodiac Ram just to get more bodies, triple copies of Zodiac Catarus, and then the one copy of Rapier. I still believe the one copy of Rapier is necessary. This gives a little bit more versatility in the deck. I'll give my thoughts on the ratios and how it performed. For hand traps, there's really wasn't much to it, but I wanted to play more than the last one. Triple copies of Ash and double copies of Imperm. I just wanted to have something that isn't just a board breaker. So, with Fiendsmith running around and other decks where I really don't want them to get the graveyard set up or have that follow-up, this was just nice. I wanted to stop Sequence, or I wanted to stop Requiem, or whether decks are going around. Then the final spicy tech monster was triple copies of Pink. Still no Fenrir in the build. I think going forward I'll play both, but there's a reason why I didn't put Fenrir in here. But Pink really overperformed for me. As for the spell cards, we played triple copies of Fire Formation Tenki and the one copy of the Zodiac Barrage. I don't know what it was, but this card was glued to my hand, and every time I saw it, I was in a much more powerful position than credit for. This card really is still dead because Dryden is not in the game, for whatever reason. Once Dryden comes back, Barrage becomes a much scarier card, but the one copy of Barrage really does help quite a bit. It's scary now that your opponent knows they have to have two proper ways of interrupting, and Barrage, if we use correctly, you can keep plussing, or if not, you can just get that extra body and go for it. It's Zeus Turbo. There's really not much more to it than that. I played triple copies of Pot of Desires. Really good card. Really good card. If you're going to play Zeus Turbo Zoo, this is just the way to do it. And just for safe measures for the last card for utility, I put 2 copies of Talents. It's odd enough that I had these in my hand for most of the games that I had today, but just never got to use them. Except for one game, which went well, actually. Yeah. It's funny, after today's build, I have a much more interesting way I want to build this going forward, but still good cards. And then you got your standard board breakers, Raigeki, you got your triple Dark Ruler No More, your double copies of Lightning Storm, and if I found my third, I would have played my third droplet. I believe this brings the count to 42, just to make sure. And yeah, this is your standard main deck. You can put Harpies or whatever else you want in it. I just wanted to make sure that I could just switch my brain off and just play Degenerate Yu-Gi-Oh!, which this was. Double copies of Zeus. It would be third if I found my third, but I digress. You would definitely play 3 of these normally. Found 1 copy of F-Zero, and this can come up, but I'm either not skilled enough or it's just too slow to get into, but this is definitely something that can come up in the grind game, and there was almost a game where I could have gotten this out, but the opponent had to nuke the board. Double copies of Borbo. You can play 2 or 3 of this. You just need more than 1 of this, especially with Unicorn running around. You also play 2 copies of Hammer Kong, just so you can use for Zeus material. And then I play triple copies of Shock-A-Nine. This card's just crazy. I think this card's really good. If it didn't have the Exceeds lock, this would make this card infinitely better. But, I mean, this is a card that came out 7 years ago. They had to have some restriction. And then my favorite, Zodiac Tiger Mortar, and then the 1 copy of the full armored Utopic Ray Lancer. This could be sided. This could be something else. It could be Typhon or whatnot. Typhon could have come up today, believe it or not, even though this is a Zeus deck. For the side deck, like I said, this is not really a complete. I just went in to have fun, but for some reason this deck worked extremely well. One copy of this. This is mainly if you're going first. If you can't go into Utopic Ray, there's not much more to it than that. Triple copies of Dimension Shifter. I really don't like this card in this deck. I really don't. But it's so crucial for you to not main deck this. And it's super crucial, too, for you to skip your opponent's turn. If they make you go first, you have to commit nothing. And going second, Malice doesn't like it, and Raziel doesn't like it. So it helps. It gives you some time, which is the goal. Triple copies of Engage and triple copies of Ego Booster. I'm not going to lie, these cards kind of bore me. Yes, it's fun the first few times when you use these cards, but these cards don't actually gain you anything. And yes, the whole point is to just protect the Zeus. That's the deck. It's the whole point of the deck is just to protect Zeus, but this is the only card that's really doing that. And I know there's other cards you can use as well, but I want to decide these because if once my opponent knows, and this came up actually, this really came up. This did come in clutch for helping me win one of the games, but I need to experiment more. I just know once Dryden comes back, there's so many more options this deck has. Like, for example, the 3 final cards that I brought. Goes a match, there can be one, and anti-spell. Dryden with Floodgate is actually really good. I just put these in here because if I'm going first, I want to just Floodgate, slow them down so then I can control the duel. Plus, when Dryden does come back, you can pop these cards at your own will so you don't get too heavily restricted. Yeah, I mean, there really wasn't too much about it. The only thing that I came to a conclusion to is, for one, this deck is Scareclaw, but worse. But Zeus has an interesting interaction that I don't know why I never thought about. So, one of the reasons why I do kind of like this build of this version of Zodiac is because when you ram the monsters, you can actually proc its effect to add material. Infernatron Goliath is a card. And I'm actually surprised I never thought about it because I played a Rise Heart when it came out, and you would use that. But that one little line saves you 6 cards. For the most part, you're never really going to have to worry about generic removal so long as Fiendsmith is this thing running around. But, like, Pure Raziel and other decks, they're not going to actually be able to out a monster that can't be destroyed by card effects. And are there other cards, then that'd be great to know, but this could actually be abused. And it's kind of weird thinking that, but yes, there are situations where you want to ram your monsters into others in order to proc this effect. It came up today. So I have some cooking to do, but I thought this was interesting. Barrage really does show how strong of a card it is. Every time I drew it, I felt safer. I felt so much safer. And with this unique build, with just playing way more Zoo names, this other effect felt live, but at the same time, with more Zoo names, it just felt more, I have less utility. I definitely think with future builds, I could actually utilize more going first and going second cards, because that's what the deck really misses. If it doesn't have Dryden, it can't go first, but I'm sure there's other things you can do about it, because Zeus Turbo is still good. It's still always going to be good. However, it is a power creep deck, and Scareclaw is an infinitely better version of this deck. But Zodiac is more fun, in my opinion. Not to diss on Scareclaw players, but I like that deck too. But yeah, this deck did shockingly well for what it is. I think this version, it could be argued as inferior to the last one I had, but it performed way better than the one that it did before. And I might be onto something with the Goliath. I'm sure I'm not the first person to discover that, but it's just, I think, worth putting an extra deck slot for. Maybe even making SP in this deck versus like Utopic Ray, where you can just side that in. Because, you know, that was originally in there for decks like Tempai and Ubel, which just helped you. But yeah, Zoo best deck, baby. I hope that this was fine. Obviously, it's not the greatest deck profile, but, you know, who cares? It's Zodiac in 2024, Zeus Turbo. What more do you want? But here's hoping for a brightful future for Zoodiac coming forward, and I can get better results. Thank you very much.